Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak, because it is currently Ramadan. My name is Fabia. I'm currently 19 years old. I reverted to Islam when I was 16 years old. Yeah, 16 years old. Today we're going to be going over the story of how I came to learn about Islam, how my revert journey went. I'm going to give you all the tea, everything. So let's get to it. Let me give you kind of a backstory of where I come from and everything. My family, all of them Christian, from Peru. I was born there. I came to Canada when I was 5 years old. I studied in Catholic schools. My parents put me in Bible lessons every Saturday, almost consistently. My mom isn't like, I would have probably offended her if I said she's not too believing of a Catholic. She doesn't really go to church. I would say she's like 60% Catholic, if I could put it on a percentage scale. My grandparents, from my dad's side especially, they are very Catholic. My dad, when he came here, he kind of was dabbling in other sects of Christianity. He doesn't really like religions now. He even went into Islam, like he learned about Buddhism, he learned about everything and anything, but he never landed on a religion. Even though my dad is a deist and he has been for quite a while, he put me and my brother in Bible lessons and he taught us a lot about Christianity. So I grew up Christian. I would say 11 to 13 was when I kind of started disbelieving, but it wasn't because of anything serious. It was just because the people around me were just crazy woke leftists. But I went to middle school and my parents ended up sending me back to Peru because they told me that my Spanish sucked. So I got sent back home. And when I got sent back home, that was kind of when rebelliousness started kicking in. I went out with crop tops, the most immodest clothes you could ever imagine. And I was only 13, 14. I stayed in Peru for about 2 years. The people over there are absolutely amazing. They were so welcoming. I love my fellow Peruvians, and I still love my friends who are from there, even though they are very woke. 14 to 15, it was kind of when my faith was the lowest. And 15, I think it was 15 and a half, is when I came back here because my dad told me, listen, if you want to actually study something and get a good paying job, you're going to have to come over here. So I decided to come here for the last few years of my high school. And so I came back to Canada. Since I went to a Catholic school, every single year you have to take religion class. The 11th year, I think it was, or 10th, I took world religions, which is self-explanatory. You learn about other religions around the world. And as I was learning about other religions, nothing really struck my attention when it first came to Islam. I kind of just learned about it and I was like, oh, they're not terrorists. What a relief. That's kind of just all that I took from that class. But as it came to the end of the term, I started getting more videos about Islam on my For You page, and that was probably because I was doing research on Islam because of the projects and everything. So as I was getting recommended a bunch of Islamic videos on my feed, I see one where it says Christian debates Muslim, gets heated or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, that's so interesting. And then I go down a huge rabbit hole of watching a bunch of Christian versus Muslim versus atheist debates, and I loved watching those. I did that consecutively for about 6 months. The more and more I learned about it, the more and more it kind of aligned with what I believed in. I called myself an agnostic back then, right? I believed in something, but I didn't know what. It was there on my tongue, but I couldn't really pinpoint what I believed in. And when Islam came, I was like, this is exactly what I believe in. I believe in one God. At the time, I didn't really know who Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was, but I did my research. And I believe in all the prophets. I believe in what the Quran says. And it really aligned with my views. On top of that, when I learned about the evidences and the Quran itself, like the miracle of the Quran, I was sold. I didn't really take my shahada up until December 2019. And that was because I kind of just wanted to take my time learning. Changing religions is a really big step. So I kind of wanted to make sure I was doing the right thing. One day, I was just laying down on my bed, binge watching some debates like I usually did. And I set my phone down on my chest. I look up to the ceiling and I'm just wondering, Flavia, what is stopping you from taking your shahada right now? Like, truly, what is stopping you? That's what I asked myself. And when I asked myself this, I couldn't answer my own question. So that night, I searched up how to take your shahada, and I said it. I read it out loud. I just remember looking at my ceiling after I took my shahada, and I was like, "Dang, like I'm actually Muslim now." It kind of came to me afterwards how much the shahada actually meant, and I started crying and everything. You know, normal stuff, yada yada yada. I wake up the next morning. I feel fine. I feel the same, but now I have to learn a bunch of different things. I search up how to pray. I search up what to do, what not to do. I knew the basics: not to eat pork, not to drink, etc., etc. The interesting thing about my journey in trying to figure stuff out and everything was that I was completely alone. Because it was December 2019, the next month, I was going to go visit the masjid with time on my hands and everything so I could properly organize myself, even order a hijab, because I didn't even have a hijab, right? So I was like, okay, before I go to the masjid, I have to get myself organized. I wanted to go there for the purpose of taking my shahada so I can, like, have it official, maybe get some help and everything. But unfortunately, a month after I took my shahada, everything closed down. Alhamdulillah though, alhamdulillah. I ended up just communicating online with a bunch of Muslims. They really told me some BS about Islam. Like, they would tell me it's okay to fast and drink at the same time. Like, you can do that. And they told me I could pray on my period. They told me I could pray in shorts. They told me a bunch of wacky things. I believed them because obviously I didn't know better myself. I was really lost for the first year, maybe 10 months of my journey, until I met some real Muslims who told me, okay, do this, do this, do this. Don't do that. Guided me correctly, alhamdulillah. I learned that hijab wasn't a choice anymore and that it was actually mandatory, because at the time, the liberal Muslims told me, oh, you don't have to wear hijab. It's just a choice, whatever. And I really believed that. I really believed it. And I told myself, you know what? I'll just push it to the side. After learning that hijab wasn't a choice and everything, I started practicing more. I set down my prayers, because the first year with my prayers, it was all over the place. I can't lie. By that second Ramadan that I had, it was really good. After that second Ramadan, I created a TikTok and I just posted a random video just explaining how it is to be Latina and Muslim, whatever, what we have to go through as reverts. And it blew up. A lot of people started asking me questions and everything. I just started answering them. I started documenting what it was like for a revert to first wear the hijab, to first do everything, because that first year we were all under lockdown, so I couldn't even visit the masjid. I finally took my shahada that summer in the masjid, like a proper one where I had my paper and everything. Alhamdulillah, like after posting on TikTok, I became very, 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 very aware of what I posted online. I wanted to keep up my videos, so I decided to cover my hair with a hoodie. I just started wearing a hoodie and whatever. I didn't have any hijabs at the time, so I ordered some. I didn't plan on wearing the hijab so soon, but since I was, covering my hair anyway, I wasn't really going outside because it was still kind of under lockdown. I felt very weird. I felt very, very weird going outside and showing my hair, so I just started going outside with my hoodie and everything. My dad would ask me, "What are you doing?" etc., etc. One time I almost fainted. I think I made a video on that actually. I fainted, sorry. I stubbed my toe and I fainted with a hoodie on, and my dad blamed it on the hoodie because it was so hot outside. It was scorching hot. Eventually, a year later, after a lot of courage, I finally told my dad that I was Muslim. I uploaded the video. It was waterfalls. Everyone was crying. My dad was very understanding, alhamdulillah. But that's because he's a deist and he went through the same thing kind of with his family. His family didn't really like the fact that he was hanging out with the Jehovah's Witnesses. He's not a Jehovah's Witness, by the way. But he was kind of wish-washy with Christianity. He ended up not choosing anything, but he does believe in God. He does believe in all the prophets. He just doesn't believe that there is a true religion or that there is a true book that was written by God. So that's his thing. The only thing with him was the hijab. My dad's still sketchy on it. My mom actually learned that I was Muslim a couple weeks ago because somebody snitched. Thanks, whoever snitched. But I was genuinely so mad when that everybody in my family knew, but it wasn't under my control. Alhamdulillah though, my mom is she's scared still. My whole family knows now. My brother was actually the first one to know. I told him like a month after I converted that I was Muslim. He didn't really care. He was just like, okay, that's cool. But he's very supportive, alhamdulillah. But yeah, now I'm here. I want to wear the niqab full time, inshallah. Hopefully, once I move out of here and stuff, inshallah, once I get myself settled with a husband and everything, I can do that, because I know that under my dad's roof, that's probably not going to happen. But yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions, put them down below, and I'll see you next time. Assalamu alaikum.